When you want to hear and see more content like this, make sure you subscribe and follow. You're listening to the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast, and I'm Lou Temlett. I know you're having a good day because either you've been on the mats considering getting on the mats, or maybe you're a doer dad. I'm so happy you're here listening or watching this episode. Please don't tap out before the end. When you start MMA but get invited to the other side, start training jiu-jitsu. I'd like to welcome Chris Yampower Otokito to my podcast. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Lou. You got it out. I was like, spit it out, Lou. You got it. Don't give up. Don't tap.
I'm not tapping. Definitely not tapping.
I love it.
However fueled with ego that concept might be, we'll deal with that another day. So, Chris, you are a brown belt. You have been on Polaris. You have been on Quattrolinos. And we met in person at Quattrolinos. And you made quite an impact. So let's start there, because meeting in person with your bucket hat on, I managed to capture a selfie. Tell me about that.
How privileged was I? How honored was I to get a selfie with the Lou, you know? Come on. Straight after a victory as well. I think it was my first live victory against Black Belt. Very honorable character as well, very honorable man. Really respected him. It was fun. As you saw, I'm not sure if there's any controversy about my walkout music. I did pick Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror, so it was a bit unique.
Yeah, well, I think walk-on music has to be unique because it, for me, when I'm picking music to share with reels or kind of stories on Instagram, there is always a narrative and a reason behind it. So as you've told me about this particular track for your walk-on music at Quattrolinos 2, tell me about the origins for you.
Just being me. It's been my favorite song since probably the first time I've heard it. I am a big MJ fan. Grew up on Michael Jackson. I think it's my first steps to him. And I think I feel the song is very authentic, it's very true. If you take a moment to just stop being there now and hear it, listen to it, not just listen, but hear it. It's very common. It's about accountability. Like, it all starts with you. Yeah. Every message that I think from across faith, across religion, across culture, starts with you. That change and that accountability.
Yes. I thank you for sharing that. There were lots of thoughts going on in my head when you were speaking then. And as you might have imagined, some people get a sense of me, Chris, and I feel like you kind of started to understand from some of my facial expressions. I'm hoping most people don't pay any attention, but those that do know. So the mirror concept is quite big for lots of different aspects of our lives. But like you say, it's a reflective practice that actually it's for us to take accountability and responsibility for how we show up, how we kind of operate, what we achieve, what we, the things that challenge us. It's down to us at the end of the day. Talk to me about what that win meant for you.
It was a beautiful experience for me because I'm very grateful and fortunate. I had my lady and our 2 children in the audience as well. My son, who also was my corner, I took him on as one of my corners on Polaris for the very reason of showing him. My son, he's 17 years old. He trains with me, with myself as well. Our daughter, who's 11, she's currently training with Chanel Dyer, doing her MMA sessions. Wow. But I'm very conscious of any environment that I create, any of the services that I develop and that we deliver, of having family around. My lady's always at hand, and we're in our 22nd year now.
Congratulations.
And she's always, again, at the forefront of everything that we develop and that we do. And again, they were in the audience of Quattrolinos. So having that victory was a great experience. I've not competed in a very long while. Not in a very long while, but not long enough. I always get told off that I don't compete. So being able to take the family there and seeing that experience and having the fun, I think that was the biggest win for me.
Good. Thank you. We'll come back to family in a bit. But having said the fact that you don't compete very much, two came along very quickly in the form of Polaris 33.
What a blessing! And again, I always I count my blessings. I'm very grateful. I try and be as present as I can, and I'm very fortunate that for the gyms that I do choose to go around and train in, or that I'm welcomed in,
Yeah,
I get to train with a lot of high performing athletes and martial artists, from pro UFC guys, PFL guys, to again elite guys who are going on CJI or top ADC. That's what I'm generally defending against on a regular basis. And a lot of the times I do get a question of, oh, Chris, you really should be competing like a lot more. So the opportunities arose. I'm very grateful to my one of my main coaches, Ash Grimshaw, and
yeah,
Ash is like, Chris, when these opportunities come up, you better be ready for it. Like your GB
yeah.
top team now, you better be ready. So he always makes sure that he puts me onto something that's a challenge, and then on to the next one.
Nice. I love that. And I think, being able to train with high level athletes
Mm,
and just have that experience, like for any of us kind of lower belts, having the privilege to train with black belts or brown belts or even purple
mm.
belts as a blue belt, um, you get a sense of the complexity of the game more so than maybe always dealing with scrappy white belts that just want to kill you.
I think there's a challenge in both. I believe there's a challenge in both.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. I'm very blessed that I've had such an amazing welcome from Ash Grimshaw and Brad Pickett and the team at GB Top Team when I decided to leave my previous gym. And I'm, again, so honored that I get to train with such high level
yeah,
athletes. And it's a different ball game. So coming from I would say, yeah, a more traditional jiu-jitsu gym or commercial jiu-jitsu gym,
yeah,
and go into a center of excellence for pro fighters.
yeah,
If you want to go pro in MMA especially, GB Top Team's a place to go to. So it's very explosive, very, as well as being technical as well, and it's a top level. You're not going to get anything bigger than Brad Pickett and Ash Grimshaw.
nice.
So it's just very fortunate that I get to do that. But at the same time, on your point, when you mentioned about white belts, you do still get white belts. You get newbies that come in, and it's a great opportunity for you to exercise and test your own
Yeah,
techniques and your own resilience, restraint, how to apply certain things, and even you're managing both sides because you do get the
yeah.
spiciness at times. You do get the over exertion of strength. So it's a case of being able to navigate that in a safe way for both of you.
I'm going to rename all those white belts to spicy now. I like that. Spicy white belts.
I love it.
um, so we're recording this in November, and this is going out on the 20th of December. So we're very much approaching the end of the year. Do you have any other competitions, invitationals coming up?
Not that I've actually agreed to just yet. I was invited to one. I'm not going to say the name of recent, which was
Yeah,
in Birmingham. In fact, it happened this weekend, and when I was invited, they actually reached out to quite a few people in my network, in and outside of my network, saying, "Oh, can you
yeah,
get a hold of Chris? Tell him to accept us on Instagram so we can message him privately or whatnot." And when I did eventually speak to them, I was asking for some of their, like, what are their benefits, what are the bonuses, and what sort of opportunities do they provide, and
yeah,
they offered me a free entry to the event, which is in Birmingham. Obviously, I mean, not obviously, but I'm in London.
yeah,
So I thought, okay, you're a new event, grassroots. I'm all about grassroots, helping the grassroots out.
yeah,
Okay, so I'll be paying for my own ticket, my own accommodation. Okay, that's fine. I was like, at least let me get some tickets to bring the missus in and the children and my corner, my coach,
yeah,
whoever that will be. And they're like, yeah, no, we can't do that. You're gonna have to pay to get in. And I was like, okay,
yeah,
maybe it's me being bougie. Maybe it's me being a bit expecting too much. But I thought, do you know what? I wish you guys were like, good luck. Maybe
yeah,
if
yeah,
you're in London at any time soon, I'll sort of
yeah,
jump on board. But I don't think it's too much to ask as an athlete. And I've seen so
yeah.
many athletes putting in so much work of training that. So
Yeah,
But
I really would echo the fact that athletes really do put themselves out to be part of
yeah,
these shows and events, and it doesn't come for free. I've had this conversation with so many people before, and it really is, you know, what's in it for you. Whilst you're not expecting the earth and you're not expecting, you know, grand bonuses and lots of other things, that there has to be a kind of a value and a balance that is
absolutely,
worthwhile. Um,
absolutely.
but having said that, this could intentionally be a call out for you to be matched up. So let's hear your pitch, Chris. I know you weren't expecting to have to pick, but your rank, your weight, what kind of, you know, obviously before we started discussing or
Hmm.
recording, I in the IBJJF world, you're a Masters 3.
Hmm.
Shout out to all the Masters athletes out there. There are more
I
of us
salute
than
all
you
of you guys.
realise. What is your pitch, and what type of events would you like to be involved with?
I will be real with you. I'm open from anything from the Quattro Linas, which I did, to Polaris again. If CGI want to give a call out, I'm open to CGI. I'm open to events. I'm actually open to events, even if it's a grassroots,
Yeah,
newbies. I'm open to it, provided there's a healthy balance between it.
yeah,
Um, I'm open to events. I'm not.
yeah,
I don't. I'm not. I won't turn my nose up. I like to help organizations out, but at least again meet the athletes in the middle. And prior to my previous comment, I spoke to several different people who have been on the event itself,
yeah,
the one that we spoke about, and they weren't happy about how they were treated.
yeah,
And that's what roots down for me. It's just a case of
yeah,
if an athlete's gone there, even somebody who's ref there, somebody who's partnered with them, and they didn't really have the best of experiences, the consistent feedback was they're not really there for the athletes. So I was like,
yeah,
yeah, it's not really my kind of thing. So if you've got a great event, if you're there for the athletes,
yeah,
doesn't have to be up to a grand. Um, as long as you're there for the athletes, give me
yeah,
a shout. If you've got
yeah.
a competitive brown belt, black belt. In fact, I prefer a black belt. Let me know.
We
I might
know
get
that now,
promoted. I
Chris.
might get promoted on your show. You know.
Chris, thank you for that, and thank you for being honest, because there are so many challenges with being a professional athlete, a number of which I've spoken with on the recent Kairos podcast. And
Mm,
by the time this goes out, that would have happened. Actually, yes, it would have happened. And you know, events like that are very much, I like hearing that it's about the athlete and it's about giving back to the athletes, because I think the community know how much training, how much dedication, there is so much
literally.
involved with
Yeah.
kind of growing up to be an athlete. It's not something that just happens out of the gate. You know, at whatever age, there's time and investment, whether that's from family, friends,
This is it.
nutritionists, sports
This is
psychologists.
it.
That there's a whole network around that is not free. So thank you for speaking quite openly and honestly about that. And I think that will,
Can,
yeah,
can I
go,
add to it? Can
yeah,
I add to that? I think something that we've touched on before is even the mental health aspect of it.
mm,
A lot of people, including myself, I've utilized jiu-jitsu as a vehicle to support with like even mental health. For me, it's therapy, and it's a beautiful experience to go. It's great to have that flow and the added value for the jiu-jitsu. For me personally, it's a community that it builds. I've developed so many beautiful relationships through people that have been trying to strangle me like 5 minutes earlier, and then afterwards we're literally chatting on the mats, and then whether it's male or female, we'll start having those conversations. So
yeah,
a lot of that, I think, there's so many things on people's minds already, so many stresses off the mats.
yeah,
To now have to think, okay, I've got to get my ticket. I've now got to get do this for the venue. Now I've got
yeah,
to get whether it's whatever it is that you're doing. I bring the family up and those kind of things.
yeah,
Any added value that an organization can do to alleviate any of that stress for any
yeah,
of the competitors is a ticket. Is a ticket in my book. And Quattrolinas, a shout out David and the crew like for what they did. Same as Polaris, better the guys. Like again, they two great events at two different stages of their operation, and
yeah.
both of those for me are great tick boxes. If anyone asks me about the Quattrolinas, I'd be like, definitely, it's definitely a recommendation.
Good. And actually, the people behind these events are
Literally,
fantastic as well, and they're very
mm,
approachable. And
yeah,
it's kind of having that two-way conversation, the honest conversations, that it's upfront and honest, and it just goes a long way to support on both sides. We will come back to the mental health, we will come back to the family, but I want to reflect back on the intro for this episode, which is when you start MMA but get invited to the other side, start training jiu-jitsu. Chris, so you're an MMA guy. Tell me about that.
I'm going to take a step back. I wouldn't classify myself as an MMA guy. I don't think I'd done it for long enough to classify myself as an MMA guy. I was training MMA in Lions Pride with Jimmy Mandoir's team in Croydon up until he closed it down. And then when he closed that down, I moved over to a new gym, which was a jiu-jitsu, renowned as a jiu-jitsu gym. So when I left Jimmy's place, the new gym, one of the owners, challenged me to have a jiu-jitsu round. And as a sort of striking guy, I was also training in Flaxman with Team Red Dragon, so Julian and some of the guys prior to that as well. Yeah. So I was considering myself as a striker. Not sure how good a striker, but I was a striker at the time. And when I was offered the opportunity to take a role in that new gym, I laughed at it. I was just like, why would I need to get on the floor and wear pajamas and roll around and sweat around with a grown man? Like, I'll just elbow or knee them. Like, what's the problem? And then my ego eventually allowed me to get on the mats, and I got entangled.
Nice.
And ever since then, I've not looked back. It's been jiu-jitsu. I'm like, wow, this exposed me. So yeah. I was like, ever since then, I've just focused on the jiu-jitsu.
Love it.
And had so many amazing coaches since then. Like, I'm just, again, looking at people who are now top of the jiu-jitsu game, and I'm just blessed that I've been graced by a lot of their experience.
Amazing. We will continue in a moment. This episode is sponsored by the Holistic Wellbeing Hub. The Holistic Wellbeing Hub is a community organisation that transforms lives with innovative initiatives. Chris and Tom at Talk to a Brother lead a safe space to support men, and they are dedicated to helping men feel more valued. If you have a man in your life or have been affected by not feeling the way you truly want to feel as a man, reach out and join the community that hosts Grapple Warriors, a father and son event, and the Triple M camps, supporting martial arts, motivation and mindset. When you're ready, go and follow at Holistic Wellbeing Hub over on Instagram. This is the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK. Keep checking out the clips as soon as they drop, because those are the clips that I've recorded in that moment, a little bit before, and they all get released weeks and weeks before the episode drops. So just keep an eye, YouTube, Instagram and TikTok. Today I'm having a conversation with Chris Yampower, Otokito.
You're getting better every time.
It's like if you read something, I don't have a script and I don't read things generally, but if you do, then that's the bit that kind of messes up. It's so much easier to have a free flow.
Flow state, Lou.
Completely.
Come on.
We love it.
Or a flow roll. Let's call it a flow roll. How about that?
This is exactly what it is. So I'm going to go back again because the intro we mentioned about being a doer dad, because obviously that's part of your jiu-jitsu journey and your family. So let's go there.
You asked me, Lou, what was one of the reasons that I started jiu-jitsu. And I, at the time, had started my son first in MMA, funny enough, in the club, our previous club. And when he was doing his training to start with, I'm not a sideline dad. I cringe at sideline parents, like really, no disrespect and no judgment to any of you guys, massive judgment to you guys, but I cringe at sideline parents. So I wanted to be able to show him, and when he's going through challenges or having to overcome certain aspects of the training and that, I wanted to be able to sort of relate and communicate that as well. So I decided to partake, and then just loved training since then. I've always trained, so it was a great opportunity to be out of my comfort zone and learn something new. And then when my daughter started training, I was like, well, no, I'll definitely have to be that protector dad. I have to learn, how to protect their family properly.
Yeah. And that's so not just physically. This is very much around mental well-being.
Absolutely.
Primarily.
communication is key. I think with every situation, and from any time that I've coached, all my services that we run, the holiday camps, the after school clubs, like all the services that we do that utilize jiu-jitsu as a vehicle.
Yeah.
One of the core lessons is the best fight you can ever have is the one that you walk away from, the one that you don't have, and learning how to navigate conversations and learning how to diffuse situations. I've done a lot of pastoral work as well. So it's like, again, how do you, a lot of the times people, when there is a altercation or there's somebody's disgruntled, it's not actually rooted in the present, it's actually rooted in something else. So if you're able to identify that and just hear the person without casting judgment, maybe you can help that person redirect their rage into something positive.
Yeah. Agreed. And that is equally so important, as is supporting our families and keeping them safe, allowing them to grow and develop in their own space. Me and my kids all started training jiu-jitsu at the same time 3 years ago.
I love it.
I didn't know what I was letting myself in for, Chris. And now look, we're like however many 100 episodes in this show, and
look at you,
tens
blue
of
belt
in the others.
Come on, 2 weeks,
I've got my own rash guard as well.
Gold medalist. I see it. I see the merch. Come on. I have to question you. Just a blue and black rash guard, but the hair is red and black. Is that a conscious contrast? Even the headphones are red and black as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, I have a tech show. I don't record from my tech show anymore, but I've been podcasting for nearly 5 years, and lots of different things. But it's finding that passion where you don't need a script. There's nothing to read. You're not going to accidentally get it wrong or feel bad about it. You're just going to speak as authentically and openly as you possibly can. I'm a natural auburn-haired individual, and I grew up with red hair and had a huge amount of bullying because I was not always the only person in the class that had auburn hair, but looking different, feeling different. But still trying to own your own space is often a bit of a challenge as well.
I hear that. It's a continued journey as well.
Yes. So, the auburn hair and, I'm just continuing it because it's about a brand and a look and feel.
And you're making it work.
Thank you. I'm going to take that.
It.
That's my gold medal from you, Chris. Love it. I'm working it.
Exactly.
It's all right. Nobody watches this YouTube stuff anyway. Check out YouTube.
This is what's going to go viral, by the way. Just
another one.
Just that clip.
I'll do it again then.
There you go. For the right reasons as well.
Exactly. So family and kind of supporting. So you're at events, you have your kids there, your lady. I love the fact that you call your wife, I'm assuming your wife, your lady.
Not yet, I would say. Not yet.
Oh,
but 22,
sorry.
22
Have I jumped in too soon?
No apologies needed. No apologies needed. I think we've probably done everything apart from get married yet. But we've got everything. We've got a mortgage, obviously the kids and all. So huge respect. So they come with you to all the events and support you, but equally you supporting them. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. It goes hand in hand. My lady did train jiu-jitsu at our old club for a spell, for at least a few months until she unfortunately broke her toe, and that was her exit from it. And our children, our daughter who's 11 now started when she was 4 during lockdown, and our son who's 17 now started when he was 7. And my son is like everywhere without forcing him to do it. Everywhere that I'm going to train, he's there with me. So he comes to the top team. We have a great arrangement with top team where they let me bring some of the cohort of youths that I mentor and coach along on regular nights. So my son comes along to that, and each of our services are rooted in jiu-jitsu and martial arts. So he gets to train with us quite a lot. So we're very grateful. And I've mentioned earlier, our daughter now is being coached by Chanel Dyer. So she's doing some MMA training with her and striking.
Amazing.
It's very active, present family.
Let's talk about mental health. Not just necessarily for yourself, but for the community and the people around you. Because I know you've had a number of campaigns going on, but talk to us about that.
Wow, where do we start? Lee? What a loaded question. We have an event coming up. So for the past three, not even three, 4 years, my one of my bros and business partners, Thomas Scannell, we run an organization called Holistic Wellbeing Hub, and that's the umbrella organization. And then within that organization, we have different services. One of those is our Triple M camp, our martial arts motivation and mindset summer camp, holiday camps. Another is our Talk to Our Brother, which is what we're going to come to. And the other one is Grapple Warriors, which is where we did our father and son jiu-jitsu, a 12-month program, and we coached fathers and sons from entry level to comp level. But the one in question, and they all link into mental health as well.
Yeah.
But the core one would be our Talk to Our Brother service, which we've had podcasts for. Every year we celebrate International Men's Day. This year we're in collaboration with GB Top Team. So Brad and the team are being phenomenal, and we're having a open mat on Friday the 21st of November.
Yeah.
And following that open mat, we're going to have an interval. And then following that interval, we're going to, which is food, refreshments, that kind of delicate cuisine. And then following that, we've got a guest panel of expert speakers who are going to talk about our topic, which is silent battles, overcoming the fights that you don't see.
Oh, I just had kind of tingles then, because that title is kind of very, very impactful for so many. Just say it again, Chris.
Silent battles, overcoming the fights you don't see. And the reason we say this is, as part of Talk to Our Brother, one of the services within that Thomas and myself run, we have a WhatsApp community, a network, a brotherhood of just shy of 200 men, I would say, that we've been running for the past at least 2.5 years. And it's a free space, and men literally jump in there. You have to be over 21 for this one, but men go in there. It breaks into 5 different groups. And in a nutshell, in these groups, one of the groups is called Man Cave. And we literally have general conversations about everything: relationships, communication. Something would happen in the news, somebody would put a topic in there, and it's intergenerational, it's inclusive. So I don't know what culture isn't in there. We've got people across from Arizona to Ghana. It's literally got so many different people that come in the group and talk. And it's that safe space virtually where people talk. And every other week, as part of that group, we do an open mat at our community space in Woodside. And then every year where we do our celebration, it is the International Men's Day celebration. But even between that, not a day goes by where I don't get a call or a message from a brother, a son. So last week I had a call from a mum where people go through as many experiences as suicide attempts, financial difficulties, trauma. There's so many different, I'll get calls or messages for so many different reasons. And I always make a disclaimer: I'm not a qualified counselor, I'm not a qualified therapist. I've done that mental health first aider training, but I'm not qualified. But for whatever reason, I always get a lot of buy-in is a wrong word. I always get a lot of engagement from people, and they say to me, Chris, I trust you. Like, you seem like somebody who's been through quite a lot yourself, and you're quite relatable. So a lot of people always give me that shout, and I like to be as provided I can make the time. I like to be sort of an open ear, just even if it's like a soundboard. I don't think I have all the solutions either, but sometimes people just want to be heard and seen.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to be heard and seen. And equally, this is a platform for people to share their stories, as well as you sharing the important work that you're doing, which I think is incredibly important. Will you just remind us when International Men's Day is for 2025?
It is. So every year it's officially the 19th of November, officially. As the 19th of November this year falls on a Wednesday, we want to try and make sure we have as many men as possible. So we're actually running our event 2 days after, which is Friday, the 21st of November. And that's going to be our GB Top Team from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And again, shout out to Brad Pickett and the team, Sinead and the guys and Martin. They're making so many provisions to make this a great night. We're going to have some guest speakers coming in. I don't know if I should announce any now.
Well, it's up to you. I mean, the clips will go out before your episode drops, but the episode's not out till the 20th of December.
Oh, it's true. I'm posting up the flyer tomorrow. Okay. So I'm literally posting up the flyer tomorrow. So yeah, we're gonna have some guest speakers coming in.
Then you can mention your guest speakers, because the clips can go out after you've released the flyer?
Three I'll mention. Should I mention them? Three I'll mention. Uh, One being Brad Pickett himself. So UFC vets, we all know Brad. I don't think he needs any introduction. Uh, One Punch, Brad One Punch Pickett, amazing human being, as well as great as a fighter as he was. I'm
Yeah,
now learning every day I speak with Brad. I realize how much of a community he's just a great father, great role model.
yeah,
And I've been to quite a few gyms, and there's been some really, I'll say it out loud, shit role models. Some people who are just there for the commercial aspect, and it's not a bad thing if that's what you want, but just be
yeah,
honest about it.
yeah.
But Brad really is there. Like Brad,
Mm,
he's had fighters sleeping on his couch for crying out loud. I've heard
yeah,
conversations where he's done so much that I think, wow, other gym owners that I've known are just pieces of shit. But yeah, it's great to see somebody like Brad. So we've got Brad Pickett who's speaking. We've got Patrick Hutchinson, Superman. If you
yeah.
know Pat, you know Pat. If you don't know Pat, get to know. Pat's one of my brothers. I've got so much love and respect for Pat and Pat. And the second he heard I was doing the event, even before I put the event live online, he's gone and bought a bloody ticket for it. I'm like, bro, like I want you on the guest panel for crying out loud.
Oh,
So we've got
good.
Pat's again a beautiful human being, beautiful soul, and he's a very big jiu-jitsu advocate as well.
Yeah,
So Pat's on board, and we've got another ex-pro footballer, Damien Scannell. So done the tours around
good.
Crystal Palace and a few other teams as well, and
Yeah,
he's known as a super dad. He's got his own organization where he helps, like literally helps men on a daily basis.
yeah.
I've seen so many people who he's helped overcome, and his story is beautiful. He's massive. He's a great example of a dad who's present with the children.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the three guests I'll mention, and we've got one more mystery
Fantastic.
guest that I'm going to keep on the
Okay.
notes.
All right. That's fine. Thank you for sharing that. And I think having a panel so that people can kind of relate, understand,
Mm,
whether it's everything that they take away or just one thing
that's
that
it.
will resonate with them, it's giving that airspace and time for people to listen, for them to
Mm,
share, for those fantastic guests to share some of their story and their journey, just to try and connect with
that's
the
it.
guys that you have in your community.
That's
I've
it.
been very privileged to have a number of guests on my show speak about their own journey, their own very deep and painful challenges. And, I'm holding a safe space equally for
Mm,
those conversations, because it's really important that um, that space is there,
yeah.
and that there's awareness, there's safety, there's
Yeah.
support network, but equally others to reach out and support those individuals as well. And it sounds like
Yeah.
you're doing exactly that.
We're trying. We're trying. And like I'll be clear, Lou, we're not saying we have all the answers or all the solution. We don't even try and be the solution.
Yeah,
Jiu-jitsu, I found, is a great outlet, and
yeah,
it's a great opportunity to have a flow. And then after that flow, you just feel free. You feel open.
yeah,
And then, however, wherever the conversations go, whether it's we've had so many different conversations from domestic abuse
yeah,
to there's a lot of things that people have really expressed to us. And if we don't have the solutions or answers, we're honest and we say, look, I can actually connect you to somebody in Croydon
yeah,
Council.
yeah,
I'm blessed that I've got get quite a lot of connections in the Croydon community. So we can
yeah.
signpost you to this organization or to this person that I know, that just connect the dots and say, look,
Good.
see what you could do from homelessness to there's so much that goes on that people
Yeah,
you would we don't judge anybody. There's no judgment, and you
no.
don't judge a book by its cover.
Hmm. And I think just relating back to the jiu-jitsu mats, we all come to training or
Mm,
competitions with a kind of equality that allows
mm,
us to be us. But the stories behind each and
yeah,
every individual that trains Brazilian jiu-jitsu is very unique
yeah,
and very personal. And most people tend not to share
yeah.
anything until they find a connection that they trust, that they can support. But do you have any advice for anyone kind of wanting to kind of raise their own awareness to support others, or equally those individuals trying to find their own awareness that things aren't quite right for them in life, and to reach out for help?
You've just summarized it. You've just done it, dude. You've just done a great job of it as well. I don't think there's any more to add on that. That's exactly it. Well, and even if your outlet isn't, the only thing I would add actually is, even if your outlet isn't jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu is not for everyone.
Yeah.
Whether it's football or whatever it could be, hockey, I don't know, rock climbing, running, cycling, swimming. There's so many different outlets.
Yeah.
Find what it is. Don't keep going until you find what that is, and don't be afraid to fail. If you fail, if you try jiu-jitsu, it doesn't work out. It's not. There's one of my brothers who comes to our talk to our brother service, and he tried jiu-jitsu for a small spell, and it didn't work out for him. He broke his toe, he got injured, and he stopped it. But now this guy is one of the best. In fact, he's my go-to guy for cycling. When it comes to cycling, he could take a bike apart with his hand. Since leaving jiu-jitsu, he's literally upskilled himself. I went for a cycle with him a couple of months ago, and it was the most embarrassing thing because he just kept on getting smaller and smaller and smaller in the distance, and I was just like, I'll see you when you get back to court.
Nice.
So whatever your outlet can be that can allow you to find that kind of flow state, find it. And then when you find that and find that peace, hopefully it will help you find a part of yourself that will start putting the puzzle together. And but one thing you did say that I don't know if you realize you said it, Lou, was which is beautiful. A lot of people have so many battles before they even get to the edge of the mats.
Yeah.
Before they even get to the edge of the mats, to have that mat, whether it's a match, a competition, a tournament, a roll, or open mat, whatever it is. So many people have so many battles before they even get there. And what I always feel is, what can I do to create an environment where that flow then does become like a sanctuary, Yeah. Even if it's the smallest thing, and that's what I'm not saying that everyone has to do that. No, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but that's where, because I feel so blessed that I've experienced that myself with a lot of the gyms, a lot of the gym owners, a lot of the people that I've rolled with. So I just try to do what I can do within my power to pay that forward. And hopefully, even if it hits one person, that one person could be that save of one life.
Yeah. Thank you for reflecting and kind of, thanking me. I'm thanking you. It's all a good space. And I think, finding that flow state, hopefully it is jiu-jitsu if you're listening to this jiu-jitsu podcast, that it's taking that kind of blessing and appreciation for what jiu-jitsu does give us. And like you said, there are so many battles before we even get to training, before we even get to competition, whether that's logistics, life stuff, work stuff, whatever
financial,
it is. We are all kind of traveling along that journey. I want to diversify a bit, Chris, because you are Chris Yampower Otokito. I wasn't reading it then. It was easy. Where does Yampower come from, please?
I can only say one name in regards to the name of Yampower, Ed Brown. So Ed Brown is a seasoned black belt. I think he just closed down his business, P360, but he's doing a lot of work now. He's got his service. And I'm going to plug Ed Brown for this one. The Work, if you haven't heard of The Work, Ed is a cancer warrior. I won't even say a cancer survivor. He's a cancer warrior. He raises awareness around prostate cancer. We actually had him on our Talk to Our Brother Every Man Can podcast. And it was the first that he actually did, for what I understand. And now he's just creating other platforms, and he's a pioneer for raising awareness around prostate cancer. I think he actually works with them directly now. And if he doesn't, prostate cancer, get in contact. So Ed Brown dawned me the name Yampower. I think it was just before lockdown. The way I used to roll was pretty heavy. Maybe I still do. I don't know. Polaris might say something. But the way I rolled used to be pretty heavy as a sort of strong white belt. I was that muscly kind of guy.
Spicy.
There we go. Spicy kind of guy. So he dawned me Yampower, and my background is Nigerian. So he's like, put the two and two together. The yam, he would say, the yam's got the power. And then from there it stuck.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. That will be clipped and shared on the social channels. We're coming up to Christmas. If you're listening to this on the 20th of December, we before we started recording, we had a little bit of a conversation around this and the challenges financial that some of us experience in the run up to Christmas, the kind of peer society pressure to over deliver and give ourselves a really hard time mentally, financially, possibly physically as well. Talk to me about how you've shifted your mindset and the approach that you have towards Christmas.
I have to shout out my lady and our children, our bambinos, because they've given grace and allowed the space for it as well. I've grown up in a family where we've celebrated Christmas every year. We're very we're Catholic, and everything was always Christmas every year. So I even had the challenge from my parents saying, "Look, but Chris, how are you punishing the guys? You're not doing Christmas." So anyway, answer to the question in short is we don't officially celebrate the official Christmas itself.
Yeah.
But what we have transformed it into is a family celebration. So it's the same principles, same coming together to spend the time without, but not being consumed by the commercial pressures and the commercial outlook of. Like, ask a lot of children, is it Gen Z? I'm not sure what the right generation is, but ask a lot of people like, what is the root of Christmas? And we played these games with our children. Like, what's the root of Christmas? And oh, it's getting presents, and oh, it's this, and the Easter Bunny or whatnot. That depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, actually, do you know it's rooted in X, Y, and Z, and that story is rooted from X, Y, and Z, which doesn't add up because certain people can be born at a certain time and climates and stars and aligning and not. So there's a lot of depth rooted into it. So it's about authenticity as well.
Good. Thank you for sharing that. And I do just want to touch on one of your previous work roles where you saw kind of families dealing with the debt of Christmas in February. Talk to me a little bit about that if you're happy to.
Absolutely. Nothing to be ashamed of. It's part of my past life, one of my past lives. I was in a bank for 15 years, Barclays Bank. And again, shout out to Barclays Bank. If you ever want to do any investment sponsorship, let me know. But
this
I was
is not sponsored.
There we go. Good night, son. Sweet dreams. That's my tea going to bed. And yes, Barclays, shout out. I could call out names, but I'm not going to. So yeah, I was there for quite a period of time. And when I was in retail, I was doing several different roles, from Premier to branch management to start out as a personal banker. And when I was in retail, one of the things that used to strike me all the time is after Christmas, you'll get a lot of families that come in that have technically gone into, families and individuals who have gone into debt just before and during the Christmas period, because trying to keep up appearances. And when you're having the conversations, doing budget plans and trying to source like the root of the reasons why they're sort of in those sort of financial strains, it's like what you said earlier, it's trying to keep up the commercial appearance of like, we're doing well while the neighbors are getting this, the kids have the expectation, they see advertised between EastEnders and trying to do what they feel is making them happy. So you get a lot of people that end up going into even further, that trying to pay that off from February, getting a loan to pay for, or grant to pay for loan, getting a loan to pay for loan, credit card, whatever it is. And then by the time you've ended up paying that off, depending on how long it takes, up to September, October, November, you're back to square one again, because it's like, and people are so wild. It's like, oh my days, Christmas is, what we're going to do? We want to take the family away. We want to do this. Do we put on a credit card or an overdraft or whatnot? And then depending on rates and how the bank is and what your credit rating is, could be very sticky. So that's another reason why November is Mental Health Month, or Men's Mental Health Month. So yeah, you got a lot of people getting in the space of where we're in now. November, what's today? I should know.
9th.
It's the 9th of November today. From the 1st of November to today, I've had 2 calls of people who have lost friends.
Wow.
Of people who have been successful in taking their lives. And we're on the 9th of November. And then there's another aspect of grief and how to deal with that. And I've got to still show face. And some of the conversations that I'm having with some of the men that call. In fact, there was a lady that another lady called last week. and she expressed she was calling for support for me to support because somebody in her family attempted to take their lives, a 23-year-old,
Mm.
and she was like, Chris, like he needs your services. Like, how can I signpost him to sort of some of the things that you've done? So again, trying to support, put measures in
Yeah.
place. So I've seen the side of it where people are coming in, showing face, showing the brave face, and saying, "No, I'm trying to sort of finance it and whatnot."
Yeah.
But then seeing behind the mask,
Yeah.
you can feel the energy, you can feel the
Yeah.
coping side to it. So I'm very solution driven, whether that's right or wrong. So I always try and see what can we do to sort of
Yeah.
help to alleviate that.
No. Thank you for sharing your kind of personal family situation with the celebration, family celebration event, and your kind of previous work and the calls and the challenges that people are facing today, and that's such a kind of broad spectrum of life experience. How do you support yourself, Chris? Because there's a lot you shared and a lot you've dealt with. And I'm thinking you're going to say your beautiful lady and your family, but what else is in the support network for you?
I can really see that you know me already, Lou. You've answered my question, and I'm great. This is why every day people ask me how are you, and I say
Yeah,
I'm magical, present,
yeah,
and grateful. Like you've just described it. And on top of that, I get to do jujitsu at a high level. I mean, come on, Lou. Like
you're winning.
I'm.
I mean, no longer spicy, but you're winning.
I would hope it's still spicy. Like it's not too bad. But no, absolutely. Every time I walk into a different. Even today, I was at All Stars BJJ
Yeah,
in Crystal Palace, and just I didn't even get to the front door, and I've got people like, oh, yeah, Yan Bao or Coach Chris or Chris and that, and I was like, this is love, and it's not
yeah,
that people are wanting stuff. People are just happy to.
yeah,
It's a blessing when people
yeah,
are happy to see you around. I've been in rooms where I don't feel welcome, and it's not a nice feeling. And a lot of us get that. We get imposter syndrome,
yeah,
and oh, am I good enough? Am I qualified enough? And you
yeah,
get that at every stage in life. From
yeah,
if I use jiu-jitsu from white to black belt and beyond. Whereas, am I
yeah,
good enough to be here? I question my
yeah,
like when I see some of the brown belts rolling today, I'm just like, oh damn, you know. So going into an event like All Stars today, just the example I was giving, and
yeah,
getting the welcome from the coaches,
yeah,
the officials, the competitors, the doormen.
yeah.
I'm blessed. Come on, you.
Yeah. No, I love it and it's fantastic. But you did mention walking into a room and not having that energy. How do
Yeah.
you deal with that? Because I've had a number of experiences where I will literally, I feel like I just have a conversation with myself, Chris. Um,
That you
I'm
just
grateful for you being here, but I literally turn on my heel and walk out.
yeah.
But how do you
You
deal with it?
you've just said it. When I've had situations where it can be awkward, I have no expectations.
Yeah.
I try my best. So one of my favorite books is The Four Agreements. And one of the four agreements is don't make assumptions. So I never assumed that if somebody's even rude or not forthcoming or not able
Yeah.
to open out to me, I don't assume that's always me. I try and be very reflective and be
Yeah.
accountable and be mindful of how I operate. I'm not for everyone. I do think that I might be like Marmite. Either you do like me, or you don't. But I'm at a stage where if you don't like me, it's more. I think it takes more effort to not like somebody. So if you
Yes.
don't like me, it's more on you. And in all honesty, I'm more inclined to be like, okay, do you know what? What have I or could I have done? Maybe along the course of us not knowing each other
Yeah.
to create an atmosphere where we don't get on. And if it's
Yeah.
something that we really want to salvage, then we salvage it. If it's something that we
Yeah.
don't, then do you know what? Let bygones be bygones. I wish
Yeah.
you well.
Yeah.
Is one of my biggest things. I really wish you well.
Good.
No animosity on my side because I believe that whatever you play out plays back to you. So whatever
Yeah.
you project, if you project love, that's going to come back to you. If
Yeah.
you project hate, that's all you're going to see. And
Yeah.
a lot of times I empathize because I've been there. I can relate. So
Yeah.
no judgment, but a lot of times, if you're having a hard day, if you're having things that are happening that aren't going your way, what energy are you put? With the second you open your eyes, what energy are you putting out? Are
Yeah.
you going straight to your phone, or are you getting a sip of water and meditating? Like, and that leads to everything. When you see first things you see your kids, are you or are you grand rising? Like How's your sleep? Hugs. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Have a lovely day at work. Okay, cool. How do
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
even
Good.
from when you open your eyes?
Yeah. It's all about choices, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Good. Well, positive choices for everyone that kind of needs it. Hugs and love and all the good things.
Absolutely.
Chris, we're coming to the end of the episode. How can people follow your journey?
The first thing I'll say is go onto Holistic Wellbeing Hub. So holistic for our services, our grassroots community organization, Holistic Wellbeing Hub. There is Talk to a Brother, there is Grapple Warriors, and there is Triple M Camp UK. Those are for our services, and those services range. We're very family orientated.
Yeah.
A lot of our services look like they're for men, but our core services are rooted in family. It's rooted in community, tribe, and village culture. So if we can help the men get to a space where they feel empowered
Yeah.
and feel enriched and feel engaged, some of the best feedback I've had is actually from a lot of the mums who come back and say, "Wow, you've really turned dad around, and now that he's coming home feeling, so seen and heard, he's a better person at home, and that he's great with the kids." And so, yes, those are the services. If you want to follow my personal journey for the moment, it is Chris Yam Power, YAMPOWER. But that's for now. That's whilst I keep that handle.
I feel like
watch this
something's
space.
afoot. Okay. If you rename it, Instagram will do the clever magic that is still able to link to your account. But go and follow Chris now. Chris,
Thank
it's
you,
been
Lou.
an absolute privilege and pleasure to chat with you and connect. Thank you for all the work you're doing. I really do value everything you're doing to support men and families for themselves to be more prosperous, more fulfilled, and all of those amazing things, because it all starts with a conversation, and one where people feel listened to. And I really sense that you and your team are doing that.
Thank you, Lou. And it's been a pleasure being on here. It's been a long time coming. When I booked onto this, I had to wait months to get on. I'm like, Lou, can you let me know if something frees up any earlier? Because So again, I want to shout out to everybody. Get on Lou's podcast. If Lou offers you the privilege of coming on her podcast, take it. It's been a pleasure being on here, Lou. And keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate you. But before you go, I want to wish you a happy birthday, age 43, on the 28th of December, Chris. You weren't going to get away without having a birthday wish.
I appreciate you, Lou. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Take it easy.
You as well.
If you got this far, thank you so much. Let me know who you'd like to see on the show next. I'm looking for stories, connections, and growth in the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from around the world. And I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly did. Thank you for telling your friends about this show. And as soon as this episode ends, I'd really appreciate you dropping the show a rating and a review. Thanks again for listening. Catch you on the next episode of the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast.